Hi there, and welcome back. If you're someone who is working in the helping relations field and are looking for a simple somatic way to regulate your nervous system, this video is for you. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Betsy Dwight, and I have a background in psychotherapy, and I am a certified tapping practitioner. I now help clinicians move from that silent depletion to building a sustainable practice using body based regulation tools that actually work in the moment and not just in some analytical theory. So, today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to start EFT tapping. So, how to do an EFT tapping practice. There's no experience needed, just your breath, your body, and a willingness to show up for yourself. First, before we get into tapping, let's talk about what tapping is very briefly. If you want a fuller discussion, check out my first video in this playlist where we talk about what EFT is. So, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's a mind body practice that combines tapping on specific meridian points on the body, specifically on the face and the torso. And as you're tapping, you're focusing on an emotion, a thought, or physical sensation that's giving you some distress or some discomfort. And as you're tapping, you're gently speaking out loud so that you stay connected to this experience that you're having. So, tapping has been shown to reduce anxiety, lower the cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, and ultimately calm your nervous system. So let's go over the tapping points that we will use. And this is the basic sequence that I will use in all of my tapping videos that you can follow along with. So we use the tip of our fingers to tap gently on these acupressure points. So we always start with the side of the hand, and this is that fleshy part under the pinky. And you can use either hand. I like to use all four fingers here, and you can tap along here. And then the second point that we come up to is the inside of the eye. And this is right where your eyebrows end, right on the top of your nose. This is a bilateral point, so you can use two hands or one hand either side. And then we come to the side of the eye. This is on that your eye bone socket right here, not your temple, but right here on the side of your eye. And this is another bilateral point, so you can use two hands or one hand, and you can use either side. And then we come down to our cheekbones. This is on this in the center of your cheekbone, on that fleshy part. And again, this is a bilateral point, so we can use two hands or one hand either side. And then the next point is under our nose. This is between your nose and your lip. This is a unilateral point, so we just use one hand. Either hand is fine. We come down to the chin. This is below, in between your lower lip, just under your lower lip and your chin, in that crease of your chin. And you can use either hand. This is a unilateral point. And then we come down to the collarbones. This is right in the middle of your collarbones, but not on your collarbone, just under your collarbone on either side. And again, another bilateral point. So you can do two hands or one hand, either side, you can cross over. And then the next point is a little bit tricky, but it's called the side of the body. It's about 4 inches under your armpit. You can do little chicken wings like this, or this is how I like to do it. You can do one hand, or you can cross your arm over and do one hand here. You can do like this, just as long as you're getting to that point. And our last point in the basic sequence is top of head. Okay. So those are the points that we will use in the tapping videos. And each point is associated with an energy meridian. And as we're tapping on these points, we are stimulating the energy. The energies flow through that meridian to unblock our energy and to feel more balanced. That is the ultimate goal of EFT, is to ultimately feel more balanced in our energy system. So we start all of our tapping practices with what is called a setup statement. And we say the setup statement as we're tapping on the side of the hand. And the setup statement is framed in two parts. The first part is identifying the problem. The second part is a statement of acceptance. So it goes something like this. So even though I feel, and you name the emotion that you're struggling with, or the thought you're struggling with, or the uncomfortable sensation, And then the acceptance part is something like, I deeply and completely accept myself. So this doesn't mean that you have to feel fully accepting right away. It's more about creating safety and self-acceptance as you're facing this difficult emotion. So for example, if you're feeling exhausted after sessions, your setup statement might be something like, even though I feel totally drained and overwhelmed, I accept how I feel right now. And you repeat the setup statement 3 times while continuing to tap on the side of the hand. The goal is to reverse the energy from resistance towards acceptance of what is happening. It is a pretty strongly held belief in psychology that in order to change something, you first have to accept what's present. And EFT helps us do just that in the very first step of the process. So let's try a round together. And this one is for the days when you feel overstretched, under resourced, and just emotionally drained. So let's take a deep breath together and bring to mind a recent moment where you felt depleted or on edge. And rate the intensity of this emotion from 0 to 10. 0 being it's not very present or it's not very intense, and 10 being it's extremely high. You might even want to pause the video to get really clear on what the emotion is that you're trying to shift and its current intensity. So, with tapping, we want to try and be very specific with what we're trying to move or shift, because the more specific we are, the better results we'll get. Okay, so we're going to start with the side of the hand, and you're going to repeat after me, knowing that you can change my words to fit your particular experience. So even though I feel so drained right now, I acknowledge how much I am holding. Even though I'm carrying so much for others, I honor the part of me that needs care. Even though I feel exhausted, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now we're going to tap through the points, 1 point at a time, coming up to the eyebrow and staying tuned into the problem. I feel so tired. Coming to the side of the eye. I've been holding space for everyone but myself. Under the eye, it's a lot to hold. Under the nose, it's heavy, even if I love this work. Coming to the chin, I rarely get to fully pause. Collarbones, and part of me just wants to rest. And under the arm, and I'm allowed to need care too. Top of the head, I honor what I am feeling right now. Coming back to the body, let's take a deep breath and drop your shoulders. Now going back to that original intensity rating, where is it now? After we've done that round of tapping, rate it again. Did it shift? And maybe it went up slightly. Maybe because you finally brought attention to this feeling. Or maybe it's gone down because you've given it space. If there's still something there, you can repeat this round as many times as you need and adjust the wording to represent what's alive for you and in your body at this moment. I do hope that you found that round of tapping brought in just a little bit of ease. And know that you don't have to save tapping for those big moments of stress. You can use it for those little moments during your day, like between client sessions to do a little reset, or after supervision when something has gotten stirred up in you, or even before those client calls in which you feel anxious, or even if you're just tired and fatigued and you just want to increase your energy. And I highly recommend using EFT to tap at the end of your workday so that you have a way to come back into your body and to leave the day behind you. So I would suggest start small, start with 1 or 2 rounds. And I guarantee you, you will be surprised at how quickly your system responds to the tapping. So if that was your first tapping experience, congratulations. This is a tool that you can return to again and again, and knowing that it's not about fixing, it's about feeling and releasing in a safe and structured way. So, in the comments, let me know, what is one moment in your work week where you feel like you would need more support? And I would be happy to make a tapping video on it. Also, I have a free resource. It's called the Nervous System Check-in, and it's a quick self-assessment where you can determine your level of emotional depletion on a scale. And it will help you just get a better understanding of what support might be helpful so that you can continue to sustain in this field. So please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like, just to show your support for the other mental health professionals and growing this community of supporting those that are helpers. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.